What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Brawl Project. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Izzet Viceroy control deck. This was suggested to me by Twitch user Nidorat during today's stream. I was like, yeah, sure, I like this card. Let's go ahead and build a deck around it. This deck plays the role of control almost all the time. You've got very few threats. And you've got a ton of control elements, most notably counterspells. Counterspells are extremely powerful in Brawl, and we're playing as many as we can pack in here. Disdainful Stroke, Negate, Quench, Tail's End, Convolute, Mystical Dispute, No Escape, Didn't Say Please, Sinister Sabotage, Thought Collapse, and Ionize. That is a ton of counterspells. And that's our main way of interacting with our opponents. I mean, people are playing expensive stuff in Brawl. Being able to counter it without it having any effect, well, that works out pretty well. We also, of course, have to pick up things that don't get hit by our counterspells, whether they come down too early or if our opponent is playing multiple cards per turn. And for that, we have the cheap red removal spells: Shock, Chandra's Triumph, Jaya's Greeting, Lava Coil, Scorching Dragonfire, and our one sweeper in Flame Sweep. And we also have Unsummon to help protect our Planeswalkers. We've got a few Planeswalkers, most notably our Commander, who can finish off the game on his own, Ral. Ral's ultimate -8, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deal 4 damage to any target and draw 2 cards. With as many instants and sorceries in this deck, that ends the game in very short order, and I think that's going to be one of our main paths to victory, but we've got a few other ways. We've got Mu Yanling, who can create creatures and attack that way. We've got Chandra, whose plus 2 emblems can add up and deal a bunch of damage. And we also have a couple creatures in Terramander, Brazen Borrower, and Crackling Drake that fly and can attack for quite a bit in the late game. And of course, we also get to play Mass Manipulation and Agent of Treachery, which are 2 ways of using our opponent's cards against us. So the game plan for this deck is mostly going to be to defend ourselves with our red removal, our blue counterspells, build up a ton of resources by drawing extra cards with our Planeswalkers, and just playing lands. This deck plays 28 lands without too many utility lands, just Mobilized District and Emergent Zone. Just have a lot of lands in play, have a lot of resources in hand, and then finally win with a big flyer, a Planeswalker ultimate, or something stolen for our opponent. We played a few games of this on stream earlier. It was pretty successful. It felt pretty good. It is pretty mean. I mean, like, the counter spells prevent your opponent from doing what they're setting out to do, and just saying no all the time. Well, it's a bit rude. But that's what we're trying to do with this deck. We're trying to play the control role, and yeah, and that's just what we're setting out to do. Control them until we can get one of our powerful finishes online. All right, let's play some games with this deck. It's the night before Christmas. Sunny's family doesn't celebrate Christmas, so let's play some Brawl. All right, let's go. All right, our first game is against Nicol Bolas. We don't have a counterspell in our hand, which is our main method of fighting against Nicol Bolas, but we do have Arcane Signet, and that is huge. That stealing the play is just, it's incredibly powerful. And we have plenty of lands. We've got 3 lands to get online. If we don't find a good answer for Nicol Bolas, maybe we will be able to Agent of Treachery it. That's a pretty big deal. Pay 2 life. Thought Erasure. Okay, so they should probably take our Arcane Signet here. This matchup, we don't play a ton of removal, so that's good. This matchup comes down to Planeswalkers and counterspells for the most part. Wow, discarding a Brazen Borrower. I mean, it does attack down Nicol Bolas, that is true. Okay, we're just going to play that Arcane Signet here. We're going to have 4 mana up on the next turn, although we can't actually do anything about it. Our opponent can just go ahead and jam the Nicol Bolas if they are so inclined to do so. Perhaps they have an Ingrath's Rampage? Nope? Okay. Well, I can't cast anything. I can hold up turn into a Pumpkin, but I don't think that's very good. I think here I just want to play the Midnight Clock and play the Mystic Sanctuary. If my opponent wants to counter that, they can go ahead. We don't even have any instants or sorceries for the Mystic Sanctuary. So, yeah, I mean, if I've been pretty impressed by Midnight Clock. It's like it's just getting bedeviled here. I've been pretty impressed by Midnight Clock in these control games that go long, because a lot of the time you actually do get up to the 12th counter there. Alright, that's fine. Okay, so we gotta make a decision here. We could play Ral, tick up, and then Nicol Bolas is coming down and killing Ral. We get to use the Scorching Dragonfire to take care of it, but that's not really that good. If I could put myself in a position where, you know what, I actually just don't have a better play, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, tick up, draw an extra card. I think they're just going to counter with Nicol Bolas if they have the untapped land. I'll just take the Steam Bends for flexibility. It costs 2 life on top of... Well, it just costs 2 more life more than the island, but... yeah, they do have the untapped land. There's the Nicol Bolas. Kill Ral here.
Once again.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, there we go. Oh. Forgot that they could use that to amass. Well, that doesn't really change anything here. Okay, so let's go to the command zone. We've got Scorching Dragonfire to finish off Nicol Bolas. I guess our opponent doesn't know about that. Let's do that. We've got a turn into a pumpkin for this zombie army. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jam it. If our opponent plays something really problematic here, like, I don't want this to get countered. It's kill a creature, draw a card, right? And I guess get a food too. I really don't want that to get countered. If our opponent plays something like Ugin here, we counter back with Agent of Treachery, Fenlurker, that's fine. I'll get rid of this mountain. I don't think we're under a ton of pressure with our life total here. 1, 2, okay. So we've got a few options. I can just jam Ral, but jamming Ral into open mana seems pretty bad. I could play this Pteramander and threaten to ultimate it, which also seems, again, not very good. So this costs, the ultimate will cost 6. Sorry, it's adapt, technically. Our opponent's probably going to play Nicol Bolas, but I think that's okay. Alright, I'm in for just playing Pteramander. My opponent does have an instant death of some sort. We're gonna play our 6th land here. I don't think we have any triple red in our deck, so we can go ahead and do this. And then just adapt the Pteramander. We're obviously not doing it immediately because we want to look real threatening. Take 1. Well, they don't have the untapped land for it. So we're probably going to play a kill spell on our Pteramander. Alright, it goes up to a 5/5. We can jam Ral again, but, like, it just seems so bad. If my opponent plays Nicol Bolas and pluses, I think that's good. Then they're tapped down so that we can Agent and Treachery it. And I guess they know about the Agent and Treachery. Anyway, let's just... Oh... It's like a quarter of their life total. I actually think I'll go face, because I think that... I just don't think this means a whole ton right here. I do not want to get Ral countered. If our opponent has to tap a lot of mana to kill this Pteramander, that's fine. The other thing I could do, and this is... my opponent has 1 blue source. I could just try to Agent of Treachery that Watery Grave. That actually sounds pretty good to me. But I would rather play Ral, they play play Ral, they counter it, they play Nicol Bolas, kill my Pteramander, I Agent of Treachery, steal their Nicol Bolas. I think that's a better sequence of plays than me playing Agent of Treachery, trying to steal their Watery Grave, them countering the Agent of Treachery, and then me playing Ral after that. So I am going to play Ral here. I anticipate this is going to get countered. No? Okay. Deal. Plus.
Power, carry the one. Decisions.
Yo. Let's get the expansion explosion. And then we'll play this tapped, I guess. We can hold up Mystical Dispute, I guess, is 1 mana counter that we could play. Our opponent's probably just going to play Nicol Bolas, shoot the Ral, but then we get to play Agent of Treachery, steal the Nicol Bolas, and just plus. Once we're on the plus train with Nicol Bolas, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Ow! Good aim.
Massacre Girl. That doesn't do a ton. Maybe they have a 3 damage burn spell. Yeah, they've got Lava Coil to finish it off. Alright, I like where this is headed. How much mana do we have? Well, we're plussing. This Ral only goes one direction.
Hope we get something good.
Well, that's not entirely true. Oh, geez. Unsummon too? Okay. Yeah. I'll take that. Let's take their blue source. This is going to be all about, like, I feel like this matchup is all about counter magic. Yeah, we'll pass. If they try to kill our Agent of Treachery, we can unsummon it and then try to steal something else again. That's a pretty neat trick. If you've ever played against a Teferi deck, a lot of the times they'll run this, which Agent of Treachery's enter the battlefield effect and then some way of bouncing it. We can't block Massacre Girl, that's fine. We'll deal with it eventually. I'm not too worried about the pressure that puts on Ral here. They could also have a burn spell. Oh, Chandra. Okay. Probably going to -2.
And no one is telling me what to do.
Alright.
I've got a
Fine.
zone
Obviously going to the command zone. I don't think we actually need to play Ral again. Playing Ral comes at a pretty steep cost. So Chandra's at 4. We can expansion explosion to finish off Chandra and pick up some cards on top of that. I mean, each extra land we tap is going to be an extra card. I guess we may as well sacrifice this food. We're not using the mana elsewhere. And we don't have really well, I mean, it actually is good for Nicol Bolas. Anyway, this is pretty... I'm pretty sure this is what I want to do. I can cast this for 3 very safely. So yeah, let's do 1, 2, 3. Let's target Chandra and target me to draw the cards. Auto pay. Yeah, we drew a land. Awesome. Let's get double red. And we'll just finish off Chandra with Agent of Treachery. Now we have Ionize at the ready. Our opponent still has, you know, they're winning this race of attacking us with Massacre Girl versus our Agent of Treachery, but we've got Ionize for, like, you know, anything that they play, and then we've got an Unsummon for our Agent of Treachery if they try to kill it. So I'm feeling pretty good about this spot. Castle Lothwain, that's interesting. They don't have infinite life here. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on attacking with Agent of Treachery. They don't have counter magic up? That sounds good to me. I'm just gonna keep on plussing with Ral. So now we don't have both the Ionize and Unsummon, but getting the cards with Ral is a really, really big deal.
Yep. Oh, come on. I just want to peek. The weight is
Yeah,
killing
let's just
me.
take the counter spell here. If our opponent has a Thought Distortion, they get us so good, it's absurd. Thought Distortion is one of those cards that I think should see a little more play than it does. It's a 6-cost black spell that is uncounterable. Do I even bother attacking this Angrath? I don't think so. Let's just hit their face. Like, we're going to have Chandra picking up. We're going to put pressure with Chandra emblems. I don't think it's worth it. They're also putting pressure on their own life total with the Castle Lothwain. Yeah, so it's a 6-cost black sorcery that says target player reveals their hand and
Not as good as me.
exile all non-creature, Is that it? It's like non-creature, non-land card in their hand and graveyard. So it's really expensive, but I don't think it can't be countered, and it takes care of, you know, all the cards that we're playing here. I don't know if it deals with planeswalkers. But But like, if you're playing against an opponent that has a lot of counter magic and stuff, obviously fantastic. Alright, so let's get this emergence zone down. We're going to attack again. How much mana do we have? 6, 12, 13? Could play Chandra, but I'm just going to Dream Eater the Massacre Girl here. Get another attacker on the field. Chandra's great when you're expecting your opponent to have a removal spell, or sorry, not a removal spell, a counter spell, because Chandra can't be countered. They don't have any blue mana, so that's not happening. Down to 8. Yeah, they're getting real low. This tempo play, I think, is going to work out. Yep. Stream Eater. Yeah, let's just take counter magic. Bounce that Massacre Girl. Finally, our opponent has a blue source. We're going to be able to ionize, deal them 2, then attack with both of these, and that's the game. Right, sometimes I play 7 games. The way this is going, that might not work out quite as well. But yeah, there's game 1. We'll play as many as time allows for. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, Chulane, Teller of Tales, and this time again we have the Arcane Signet. Arcane Signet is just so insane. Yeah, keeping, definitely keeping. Ah, our opponent has the turn 1 Arboreal Grazer, which is equally insane, I might say. It doesn't look like much, but let me tell you, Arboreal Grazer is one heck of a card in this format. Tail's End, yeah. Their deck is usually very reliant on Chulane. You know what? If our opponent gets down a fast, that's fine. If our opponent gets down a fast, oh, yeah, they actually have, they're gonna have, okay, so I need to kill something this turn. If our opponent gets down a fast Guardian Project, we could be in a lot of trouble. That is not something that we're too well equipped to deal with. They play a Circuitous Route here. I think that's fine. We've got the Tail's End. Right, Arcane Signet into Island, right? Yeah. We've got the Tail's End for Chulane, if that's what they're going to go ahead and do. I'm actually not 1000% sure that that is correct. But it can't be that long, is my thought process here. So we got the counter for Chulane, and then the next time they play it, we're going to bounce it, and we're just going to tick up Ral, and unless they can put some pressure on Ral, yeah, okay, we were just going to get to the ultimate. Alright, well, that was stark contrast to the last game. Alright, let's go on to another one. Another Nicol Bolas deck. Strap in, everyone. It's time to play a control mirror. Sounds pretty good. It's got three counter spells. We'll keep it. The only issue, the big question is, are we going to have enough lands to make this matter? What are the chances that I need to quench on turn 2? Well, if I do need to do that, I can just do it off of, I can just play the second land untapped as well. Copy target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. So this actually counts as a counter spell. If that's how, if that's what you want for it. Okay, so there are 3 cost things that I'm worried about. I don't. 3 cost planeswalkers. There's like Little Chandra. There's removal on Terramander. You know what? I've got both Negate and Quench. I'm going to go ahead and play down untapped. Or, sorry, play the untapped land. We're going to run into some trouble here if our opponent hits land drops and we start missing them, though. Narset? Oh, yeah. Well, it's a good thing. Alright. I think Shocking Face is a little too aggressive if our opponent plays like Drawn from Dreams here, I think that's our dream, because then we can expansion it, because we really need those lands. Missing a land. Oh, missing a land is basically conceding the game in a control mirror. Oh, he got a land. Awesome. Would you like to kill this? No? Can't kill it? At least no instant that kills it? Excellent. Midnight Clock. Yeah, no. Just imagine if that card was a land. My opponent would have four mana this turn. That is not a land. If we were able to slam Ral with the shields down there, that would have been absolutely insane. Yeah, I can't go for this yet. I can expansion for 0 in order to, or sorry, explosion for 0 to try to get a little closer. Can also shock to try to get a little closer. Alright, I think we're at the point where I'm okay playing Explosion at the end of turn for 2. Arcane Signet, well, I can't really do anything about that. Our opponent's going to have the mana for Nicol Bolas next turn. Alright. It's the good old deal 2, draw 2. So, yeah, okay, it's countered. I think I can just go ahead and jam the Ral here. Oh yeah, especially with that land. First of all, I might hit a 2-mana counterspell for their Nicol Bolas. Second of all, I can Agent of Treachery their Nicol Bolas, but you know what might be even better than that? Is if I just Agent of Treachery a land here. Something I'm appreciating more and more and more is that Agent of Treachery on land is just an absolutely insane play. There is an issue if they just rip a land and can play Nicol Bolas, then I guess I am in trouble. So I'm just going to go Ral plus, but Agent of Treachery land is always a very relevant play. With how commanders work.
Weight is killing me.
Because you know, that land gets you closer to your commander for the, you know, next time that you're casting it, and it takes your opponent further away from it. It's just absolutely huge in the early game. Auto Rager, that's pretty good. Well, they have to bedevil. They can't bedevil off of the lands that they have left. Yeah, there goes the Agent of Treachery. Big surprise there. They have to answer this Ral. If they don't, like, I get to untap with Ral. That's huge. Let's see if we can find another counterspell.
The weight is killing me.
Kind of counts. Alright, we can just jam Mu Yen Ling, right? We've got Tails and No Escape for Nicol Bolas. They overused Ionize, but they could have, you know, Didn't Say Please or whatever. Thought Collapse, Gate. Yeah, that's fine. Not much I can do there. If we Tails End the Nicol Bolas, we can also activate Terramander. Yeah, I got that. Just imagine if my opponent had lands into the Arcane Signet and Chromatic Lantern. This is why I think people are a little too high on mana rocks. If you're not hitting your land drops anyway, it just doesn't do a ton. Ooh, Fires of Invention. Okay. Well, they can't counter our spells anymore, I guess. Oh, that's a good draw. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Ral plus.
Time to choose.
That's a good one also. Alright. Let's turn that Fires of Invention into a pumpkin. Make our opponent pay mana on their turn. Oh, Mystical Dispute. That is an insane draw also. I've been... You'd think that this is like a color hoser and might not be the best to, you know, put in your deck, which you might play against any deck, but I've been incredibly impressed by Mystical Dispute. Just winning counter wars, surprising people with a one mana counter. It's the only counter spell for 1 mana that you can possibly play for 1 mana in the format. That's a pretty big deal. So they, yeah, like we had 4 counter spells in our hand. Rel was about to ultimate. Awesome. All right, let's go on to another one. Unblemished 3-0 record. Let's see if we can keep it up. All right, the true test. We're up against Golos Tireless Pilgrim, but we get to go first. That is huge. This hand is actually utter garbage against Golos. Because it's got 2 removal spells. You need to counter Golos. That's the best way to interact with it, aside from maybe taking control of it. Like, Muyan Ling is really good here if we can get it on turn 3, but, boy, the rest of the hand is just not good. Okay, I'll take this. If our opponent plays a Signet, for example, on turn 2, we can turn it into a pumpkin on our turn 3 because we drew a Signet. This hand just kind of gets out in front quickly, and you really need to do that against Golos, because once they start clicking on Golos, they win. I think Golos should I think Golos was better than Oko ever was in this format. I think they should probably ban Golos. Well, there's their Arcane Signet. Alright, we're gonna turn it into a pumpkin. Not messing around. Oh man, if they have Mystical Dispute here, woo! Black? Alright, sure. Unfortunately, we don't actually have an answer to Golos. What we can do is we can play Ral. Like, if they play Arcane Signet here, yeah, like, we can play Ral, but then they get to counter with Golos if they have an untapped land, which isn't great. I guess, actually, Shock plus Scorching Dragonfire does team up to kill Golos, and if we have a counterspell to follow it up, we could be in business. They also need an untapped land, which they didn't have last turn.
Just try it.
Yeah, I'll just take the untapped land. That was a bit disappointing, I must say. It's also really tough for us to deal with Field of the Dead, although earlier I did grind down a deck that played Field of the Dead. Like, Field of the Dead out of most decks just isn't too much of a problem for most of the format. I certainly don't think that Field of the Dead needs to be banned in Brawl as well as Standard. But it is good against control out of the Golos decks. I do not think that Field of the Dead is the actual card to get here. They're missing red/white, and Castle Garenberg is a little scarier. So if they play a white source, they can activate Golos, and that's pretty gross for me. Alright, well, we're definitely plussing. Let's see if we can find a counterspell.
Hope we get something good.
Hope we get something good indeed. That did not happen. Alright. Here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and just Dream Eater that Golos. Do not love it. Not one bit. But I think it's our play. The other thing I could do is I could just Dream Eater the Arcane Signet. That might be a little better. And I can chump? Jeez. What world do we live in where we're chumping Golos? I think I like this play better. There's Tail's End. There's no escape. Okay. So here's the plan. Opponent's gonna untap, play land, play Golos, get a zombie. We have Shock for the zombie. We're gonna plus Ral, chump block. Golos, try to protect it with Tail's End / something else. No, that's still bad for us. If they have Mobilized District, that's actually the card that they want to get here. There.
I'm known for my
They got Bounce Dream Eater? That's really good for us. Holy cow. We just shock, finish off the fairy, plus Ral. We've got a clear path to ultimate Ral, and we can counter Golos with the no escape. I probably should have had no escape one card closer. Actually, you know what? I don't... Yeah.
Time to shoot.
Quench. I actually think Quench is better than no escape here. Because if they play something like Casualties of War, we can try to counter it. We can also Quench and then expansion it. That would be sick. But once we get the Ral emblem out, I think we can actually win. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw 2 cards and deal 4 damage to any target. Alright, so let's just sit back on our counter magic. They need the Elder Spell, because that lets them pay for. Murderous Rider also works. Mass Manipulation gets quenched. Oof, it's a good thing I took that Quench instead of No Escape. Quench is such a real card. Yes! We beat Golos, 4-0. We beat Knuckleballs twice and Golos once. Watch out, tier list. Ral Izzet Viceroy is coming for you. Alright, let's go on to another. Alright, we're against Knuckleballs. I think we've played against this opponent before. We've got a Negate, we've got an Agent of Treachery. We're going first. We've got 4 lands. Keep. This Flame Sweep is pretty bad. No hiding that. But, you know, if we can get up to Ral in a good fashion, that will be good. It's kind of a circular statement there, but that's okay. Crackling Drake is not bad. It replaces itself, even if it probably just dies. Yeah, that's fine. No need to negate that. We want to negate relevant plays. Ah, top. That's a little scary. Our opponent plays Arcane Signet or Clock here. We've got the Ionize. No? Okay. Could just jam Mu Yanling. I don't like that, though. If we could jam Mu Yanling with Negate up, I think I would be down for it. Plaza of Harmony. And we missed our first land draw. That's fine. We're okay discarding Flame Sweep to hand size. The rest of these cards do matter, but Flame Sweep doesn't really. Ooh, that could be scary. Well, you know how I said Flame Sweep doesn't matter? Well, actually, it might. I think I'm just going to fire off this Mu Yanling. If it gets countered, it's fine. And we're not going to fight over this. We need to hold up Negate for Nicol Bolas. If they have Nicol Bolas into Mystical Dispute, that's annoying, but it's fine. Six mana. Okay. Fabled Passage. I guess I can try what I did last time with the Crackling Drake. It's basically the same thing as playing Mu Yanling, just having a gate up. Yeah, I think I'll go for it. Full stroke, that's fine. So if they go for Nicol Bolas, we'll negate. That is... Well, looks like... Okay, here we are. Flame Sweep might actually turn out to be useful. It's not what I was expecting out of this matchup. Seventh land. We could Agent of Treachery the Field of the Dead at some point. I think... I like Ral plus, though. If they have a counter for Ral, we could fight for it. That's actually kind of worth fighting for. Yeah, I'll fight for this one. Alright. Get got. So now they have an army of tutus, which I actually don't think that matters a ton. We do have the flame sweep to reset the board at some point. It's not like they're going to be putting a ton of pressure on us. But they play Nicol Bolas. They plus, it's annoying, we get rid of our shock, we Agent of Treachery, steal Nicol Bolas, and we could be in business. Of course, our opponent could have another counterspell, that would really ruin us. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. I was thrilled about my hand, but, you know, our opponent also had 4 counters here. They have any gates? Yeah, they do. So we'll get rid of this shock. I think we're all in on this Agent of Treachery working. If it doesn't, we pretty much just lose. Steal a Nicol Bolas and fire back with the +1. Fire the Carnarium. Not too useful here. So they have to kill the Agent of Treachery and then attack down Nicol Bolas. Yeah, that's pretty obnoxious. If they can do that, which they almost certainly can. Could have killed the Agent of Treachery, really. Block. Alright, what do we have here? We've got 7, 8 mana. Hold up Ionize. I think I like holding up Ionize. This blocks one of these. We can't protect this, but we can just triumph the Meteor Golem if they try to recur it or copy it or something like that. And at some point we're going to have Flame Sweep to clean up our opponent's hand, or our opponent's board. So, I actually like doing nothing here. Also, Flame Sweep does not hit our Brazen Borrower, with noting. Yep. This is so aggressive. Yeah, they're going to be attacking with 2/2s the whole game. I think preventing the 3 damage from Meteor Golem is pretty relevant. Got 6 mana up. Fine. They just jam Nicol Bolas. They just jam Liliana. What are they going to do with Liliana? Kind of think I just don't want to find out. They're just gonna plus and make another zombie, but they draw cards. I think this is actually fine. I think this is actually fine.
Servants, your corpse will volunteer.
Yes. So I'm gonna borrow the
Like a fun new toy.
permanent. Then I'm just gonna jam the borrower. And we're gonna start attacking in the air. Like I said, the flame sweep doesn't hit our borrower, so that's fine. If they try to replay the Liliana, we can ionize it. That's not great here. Alright. Myself? Yeah, I guess we're targeting myself. Block with the Secret Keeper and attack with the Borrower. It ain't much. We do have to ionize Liliana if it comes down again next turn. Because the minus is really bad for us. They get to draw 2 cards. They take out, you know, these 2 creatures. Actually, probably these two. I think I sacrificed my Brazen Borrower. Drown in the lock. Well, we had enough cards for it to get countered anyway, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so I need to Flame Sweep now. Yeah.
I am the master.
Okay,
here.
so if they -4, we can still attack Liliana down. Oh, we can also
Rise
Mass
and
Manipulation.
shine.
Well, that's kind of cute. Seven. I want them to tap out for Nicol Bolas, and then I can get both Liliana and Nicol Bolas. That seems big. Alright, plus. Ral plus.
Decision time.
Hope they don't have to rest me. Don't want to attack there. Yeah, just attack with 1.
So that's how it is.
Yep, there's Nicol Bolas.
All of the multiverse will bend to my will.
Plus.
Good, mindless me.
I'm guessing minus on Ral. Like, they have to deal with Ral. Like, cannot let Ral stick around. Yeah, they can. They can potentially win that game. But, like, the chances of me winning with Ral sticking around versus Ral dying are very different. Let's just get rid of this Borrower, actually. I want to keep the Treachery around. If I draw an Unsummon, that it turns it on. The Borrower just, like, it pressures Planeswalker, but it doesn't do a whole ton aside from that.
Of my
They've got 4 mana up. If I can get a Mystical Dispute, that's the... Okay, or they can tap out and we can steal both their Planeswalkers. That's also a desirable outcome for us, I would say. They plussed with Nicol Bolas? Holy cow, we're going to have a Planeswalker at 6 and a Planeswalker at also 6. Okay, so let's plus first.
Decisions.
Like taking the counterspell, although we're not really going to get a chance to use it here. Yeah, we'll still take it, though. Pass this X equals 2. Steal both of these. Autopay. So we're gonna plus. Disdainful Stroke's not the worst. What if I minus Liliana? I draw 2 cards. If I draw an untapped land, I can potentially draw a land. I think I like that. So I'm gonna do this. It means we're saying goodbye to Liliana, but I think that's okay. It gives us the opportunity to hit a land for Disdainful Stroke, and I think that's a really big deal. Oh, yeah. And it's Mobilized District? Okay, that's not bad. Alright, so they can just attack down Liliana. We don't have any blockers, which is kind of annoying with Field of the Dead, but I think the Planeswalkers going up to, like, just ticking up both Nicol Bolas and Ral make it worthwhile. Our opponent is probably going to fire back with, like, a big Mass Manipulation or that, which we can't deal with. That's annoying. I tried so hard, and I got so far. Alright. Alright. We're gonna counter even. This costs 9. How much mana do we have? We cannot hold up Sinister Sabotage. Alright, so Ruined Temple of Epiphany here. Scorching Dragonfire. Don't want that. I don't even know what I need here. Sabotage that. They can't attack us. That's, you know, I guess that's something. Don't need Arcane Signet at this point in the game. We're looking for more counter magic, but boy, that's not even going to stem the tide. Like, if they have another land, they can just attack Ral down. They do not. Oh, I forgot to activate the Mobilized District. Boo on me. Yeah. Play Ral plus to the point where we can't actually kill them if we ultimate because their life is going to be too high, which is an awkward place to be. Right. This costs 11, which is as much mana as they have. I can't quench that. That's a bummer. Okay.
Time to choose. Always so exciting.
What's the chances that I can mill them out? Probably not very good. Dream Eater does stand in front of their entire team. We're down to 7, which is really low. Alright, so returning Ral to the hand, obviously. It's all bad. My opponent's lands are a little better than mine. I don't know if you've noticed. Is this Tail's End? Murderous Rider instead. That's fine. I mean, he's just gonna go back to our command zone anyway, right? Do I need to kill this agent in treachery? Take action. It's cost 11. That's absurd amount of mana. Yeah, I think we're getting low enough that I actually have to do this. They draw land, they can get out of quench range. Untap land. Oh, jeez. The good old quench in 11 cost spell. The turn 20 million quench. Excellent. Down to 3? Alright, how much mana do we have? 6? Okay, so what you're telling me is I need a 2 mana counterspell or to pick up a land from this. Well, I think we're not going to not cast Ral.
You ready? Well, let's see what the wind blows in.
Yeah, I think I take the Castle Mantras here. Hopefully they just play land Nicol Bolas. I think that's the best thing we can ask for. Or if they cast some spell that for some reason gets countered by Convolute. Which doesn't make a ton of sense. Mass Manipulation. They have exactly 4 up. Seems about right. Alright, well played, opponent. Good game. I can cast it, but whatever. Alright, what a mirror. Oh, that's our first loss of the night. And it was a close one. Okay. Well, let's try to get one more game in there with this Ral deck. I'm really enjoying it, but I also realize that we're running close to an hour here. Okay, one last game, and we'll call it a night. Alright, a Niv Mizzet Reborn. That's a card that we haven't seen yet today. This hand is fantastic. We'll keep. I think this deck also does pretty well against Niv Mizzet Reborn. They're usually not packing a ton of threats, and if we can answer the threats with counterspells and sit behind a Planeswalker, I think we've got a really good shot. Also, just going first with an Arcane... Like, if you're playing a blue deck and you're going first with an Arcane Signet, it's pretty fantastic. I understand why Arcane Signet is in the format, but I'm not sure if I like it. Oh, jeez. Gilded. Okay. Go ahead and shock that. In addition to accelerating our opponent, Gilded Goose provides a good amount of mana fixing. So we've got turn 3 Steam Vents tapped, and then turn 4 Ral Izzet Viceroy, and then hopefully we can have negate for whatever our opponent does after that. It didn't occur to me, but we actually don't have an answer for Niv Mizzet Reborn. If that hits the table, we could be in big trouble. Because it just means that they're going to draw so many cards we might not be able to keep up with them. Okay, Steam Vent's tapped. Like I mentioned. They've got something. Could jam the Brazen Borrower, but if they play a Mana Rock here, I 1000% just want to, yeah, like, Brazen Borrower on the Gift of Paradise is exactly what I want to be doing. Also kind of interesting that my opponent is playing, kind of interesting that they're playing Gift of Paradise, Gilded Views. These are not multicolored cards. And my version of Niv Mizzet only has a few. Like, it does have some monocolored cards, or I guess non-multicolored cards. This will put some pressure on. But very few of them. So our opponent can't play Niv here, which is good. That's what we're most scared of. If they remove Ral, that's obnoxious. Like, if they don't remove Ral, I think we're absolutely golden. Drawing an extra card every turn is pretty insane. If they just like ramp on the next turn and then we get to have negate up, I guess this does put a little bit of pressure on us, but not enough, I don't think. So let's tick up Ral. We'll take the counterspell. Counterspells are big here. Terramander. Just play a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can Brazen Borrower and hold up negate. That's fine for me. Oh, our opponent missed a land drop. Well, okay. That makes things a little easier. If they play Gift of Paradise, I think I just counter it. Yeah, just negate here. If they attack, we'll block, and we'll try to get up to that Ral ultimate. I think we can do it. Yep.
I hope you don't mind if I enjoy this.
Question is, do I block Terramander or Ral, or Brazen Borrower rather? I think Brazen Borrower is worse. The toughness is really what matters here. That was actually a very good draw.
Decision time.
Okay, we got another counterspell. Flame Sweep takes out our opponent's creature. We can attack Dovin, and that's all she wrote. We're going to ultimate Ral next turn. We've got 3 counterspells in hand. They all target Niv Mizzet. Game's over. We can counter this turn. I mean, if it's something that we care about, that fixes them to a very good degree. You know what? It's not going to come down to how many cards are in hand. It's just going to come down to mana usage. Yeah. Alright, there you go. A few Ral ultimates, a few long, drawn-out control mirrors that are that were pretty intense. But yeah, this counterspells are very good in the format. Ral's a great planeswalker, just ticks up and draws you an extra card and gives you a little bit extra selection each turn. Stick it's a lot of fun, although it's a little against the spirit of the format, I think, because you're playing so much counter magic, you're trying to prevent what your opponent's doing. But it is very powerful if you're just into that, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a competitive game of Brawl, I think this is a reasonable choice. We beat Golos and we beat Nicol Bolas 2 times out of 3. Alright, thanks for watching the Brawl Project. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. That's where I post all my updates for everything. And I also stream Brawl every Monday through Thursday at noon Pacific. If you want to battle me, if you want me to check out a deck, if you want me to play a certain deck, because I have most of the cards in Standard at this point, yeah, stop on by and say hello. I'd love to see you there. Yeah, also stay tuned for my articles. They release once a week on channelfireball.com. Usually have some insights into the Brawl format in one way, shape, or form. Alright, have a happy holiday season, although it's probably past by the time you're watching this. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.